world of tank blitzers and hopefully a few future mumrads. I'm Littlefinger. Today we are doing a full tank review on the German tier 2 medium tank, the Pz4. You can see it here in the garage with the upgraded turret with a little bit of spaced armor around it. And I currently have it equipped with the 75 centimeter L48 gun. This is one of the few tanks that I actually have a hard time recommending a gun for. Let's take a quick look here at the characteristics. Maneuverability 50%, shot effectiveness 41, kind of low on the protection and firepower. But what you will notice is we have the option here of a 10.5 centimeter L28 gun. So let's take a quick look here at the 7.5 centimeter. Comes with average penetration numbers of 110, 158, and 38. But your average damage is going to be 160, 135, 200. All fairly good numbers when you compare them to the rest of the tier 5 tanks. But the option here to run this 10.5 centimeter gun, you can see here we're going to get a few less rounds per minute in, but our penetration numbers take a hit of about 50 down to 64, 104, and 53, which makes playing the tank a little bit more challenging. But if you look at these damage numbers, 330, 280, 410, these are some big numbers for tier 5. So it can be a fun tank to run with this little howitzer gun on it. Let's take a quick look at the tech tree. German line here, tier 5, you can see it on the top green one there. Pz4 is going to basically give you two options to run out, either to the E100 or the mouse. Running up the VK3601H, Tiger 1, Tiger 2, E75, E100. You can see the up through the Tiger 1, these all have flat hulls. You start getting into a little bit of sloped hulls there with the Tiger 2. E75, really a great tank, probably one of the best tier 9 tanks. Recommend this line for sure. But if you do choose to go the mouse line, the Tiger P is a great fun tank to drive. I'm struggling with the VK4502 and haven't quite yet got to the 4502B or the mouse yet. So working on those tanks, but really enjoyed the Tiger P. Looking at my setup here in consumables, repair kit, multi-purpose, and adrenaline. Provisions, I'm running the three big ones here: improved fuel, protective kit, and chocolate. And ammunition, you can see this gun carries a lot of ammunition, 87 rounds, 55 AP, only 18 of the APCR, and 14 for the HE. Remember, you can buy your APCR Primo rounds here with credits. Make sure you just push that button. Word of warning, you do want to carry a little bit more HE if you're going to run the 10.5 centimeter gun, because that's probably going to be your ammo of choice for the most part. Excuse me there. Last thing, we're going to look here at equipment. You can see it's tier 5. Again, don't recommend spending spare parts on these tanks. Just because of our slow rate of fire, I have chosen the gun rammer. Calibrated shells going to help out about 5 with your AP round, 8 with your APCR. So not a lot of difference there. So going to get those extra shot in. Protected modules is what I run just to help out with the chance of transmission or ammo racks. Enhanced cabin is going to help protect your crew. I repair those guys with my repair kits, so I prefer to run the protected module. Improved optics is going to increase our view range up to 275. Obviously, you're not going to be sitting still in this tank, so camouflage net's not really going to help out too much. And then if we do move down into level 2, enhanced gun lane drive is really going to help out with this tank. So I would choose that over supercharge. Enhanced armor is going to give you 5% to the hull and turret, whereas improved assembly is going to only give you 40 extra hit points. I would probably go with the enhanced armor. Improved control is going to give us 8 horsepower and 4 extra degrees of traverse speed, whereas our engine accelerator is going to give us 30 and a traverse speed of 1.5 increase. This one's kind of a toss-up in my opinion. I typically go with improved control because I like the traverse better. This tank is a little sluggish going up hills and so forth, so I could see an argument for either one there. Moving down to vertical stabilizer versus the refined gun. I'm going to go with that vert stabilizer and get that aim time down. Especially on that howitzer gun, there's a fairly long aim time. So again, enhanced tracks versus toolbox. I would probably go with the toolbox. And consumable delivery versus high-end consumables really, again, depends upon what provisions you're running there. So I would typically go with the consumable delivery system. So let's take a look at how this tank compares to the rest of Tier 5. Alright guys, you can see here I have pulled both of the Pz4 tanks. The first one on the left there with the 10.5 centimeter gun, and the second one with the 7.5 centimeter gun. And then I've put the rest of the non-premium Tier 5 tanks. Just about all of these have a 75 or 76 millimeter gun. So what I wanted to point out with this was just what your potential damage per minute here was with the 10.5 centimeter gun. 2687 there, and obviously that is making the assumption that every HE round you shoot penetrates with your 410 alpha and your 6.5 rate of fire. Obviously that's not going to happen, but it was, in my opinion, just a kind of an interesting comparison there. You can see that with 53 millimeters of penetration, you're more than 50% down from the rest of these Tier 5 tanks. So it's quite a challenge, but it can be a lot of fun to play it with this 10.5 centimeter gun. So to make this a little bit more of a fair comparison, what I've done here is removed the 10.5 centimeter gun, and we just have the Pz4 with the 7.5 centimeter. Damage per minute there, 1318, is right in the middle. You can see a lot of light green and a lot of light reds, meaning not a lot of difference there. Penetration at 110 is a little bit on the low side when you compare it to the Chinu Sherman at 124 and 128. Alpha 160 across the board. That's every tank. Rate of fire 8.24, again in the middle. Reload time 7.28 in the middle again. Obviously it's a 75 caliber gun with shell velocity of 790. So to be honest, this gun is basically average. It's right in the middle of the pack of all of these tanks here. Your aim time at 2.08 is a little bit on the high side. Dispersion at 0.35 really is workable, and pretty good. Only the Chinu is better there. You're gonna see the gun depression there at 8 degrees. Negative 8 degrees of gun depression is certainly very workable. Obviously not as good as the Chinu and Sherman at 10 and 12, but 8 degrees, I didn't really have too much of a problem with that. Alright, so moving on to movement and mobility, you can see here 48 kilometers per hour. Again, Chinu is a little bit slower, but the rest are equal or faster. Engine horsepower is fairly on the weak side at 484, but we do have relatively good, well, I guess across the board, the terrain resistance is the same for all of these mediums. So our effective hit point, horsepower per ton, is 19.4. So I would say that this tank feels a little bit more sluggish than the rest of the mediums. Credit coefficient 130 is not too bad. View range 253, right in line with the rest here. 710 hit points. Hull armor 80 millimeters from the front, 30 from the side, 20 from the back. You can see there that 80 hull is top of the class. And then the turret comes in at 50 on the front and 30 on the sides. So again, that's kind of below average for these tanks. But what's nice is a lot of these players at this tier will aim at your hull, and you will bounce quite a few shots, especially when you have the upgraded turret with the spaced armor on it. So anyway, you can see moving down here to the 90-day averages, 57.5 on the win rate, 788 on the average damage, 1.4 on the damage ratio, and an average kill of just over 1 per battle. So nothing super exciting there that jumps out at you, other than 57% win rate. I know a lot of you guys would be very happy with a number like that. So those are obviously numbers for you to shoot for and try to do better than. And hopefully with reviewing some gameplay, you can do that. So let's jump into game number 1. All right, first game, Mayan Ruins here, and we've got a Triari platoon. So we know we're up against some good players. You can see on this, the howitzer, I didn't really change my loadout and really should have been running more HE rounds than that. Maybe even with the AP and just a few heat rounds. But you can see here that Chaffee, he knows what he's doing. That's the Triari. He's not showing me anything to shoot at. So I'm just going to sit here and wait, and hopefully we'll get some more spots. And you can see that Leo pushes around to the right. This Matilda is showing me his backside, so I'm going to switch over to heat and make sure I just get a nice good roll. 327. Again, I know this is a good platoon we're up against, so I want to do damage and get these tanks out. I'm not so much worried about my credit earnings. So you can see the KV-1 pushing up the hill. I want no part of the KV early. We take a couple shots here from behind, and I'm thinking Leo in the back. This is going to be fun. So just trying to get myself into a position. Be patient here as he's walking away. And 191. What a horrible roll there. Basically just splash damage at this point. So you can see here this Leo showing me the side. That's much better. 467. Those are the kind of numbers you like to see. So we're going to push around, see where that KV's at. First, we'll finish off the Leo. KV's pushed around, so we're okay there. This poor Wolverine, he really doesn't help me much. This is a disappointment as that shot just misses the mark. That would have been nice to get a couple hundred hit points on the Chaffee there. So we are down a tank at this point in time. Trying to get shots around. Oh, here comes a nice easy target. We'll go ahead and finish him off. And now we've got a Leo down here all by himself. I get a shot. It must have been the KV. So I want to push around the corner here. And again, I'm thinking the backside of a Leo and barely 160. So he gets finished off. We're still down a tank. KV-1 and Chaffee there, the Triari, are pushing around the other side. So going to try to get around to the back here. And I just want a nice 300 hit points would be great here. So I take my shot and I wait. Get it 296. You gotta be kidding me. So I got 200 hit points. Now I only have 17. And I can't even do any damage by ramming the KV. And I don't know what Wolverine was doing. I guess he was sitting there watching Cap or something, because he's just going to mosey on up and get shot. Pointless. You know, I don't understand why this guy couldn't have been pushed around and taken a shot on the other side of the KV while I was facing him. So anyway, you can see 1865 on the damage, 3 kills. And got some good platooning there. So second game here, Hamas Door. See if we can't get a better verdict at the end of this one. We are bottom tier. Got 3 tier 6s. You can see here at the beginning I'm fighting a little bit of lag. That ping's jumping up. We'll get it squared away here in a second. There we go. We get spotted, so I'm going to call for some help. And my team's already gone back around, so looks like we're in good position when I see that MT25 just sitting there for me. So hey, how about this? 442. Gotta love the howitzer type guns, these big derpy guns. Here's another one, 425. Very nice. So we're at almost 850 hit points and 2 shots. So I see a couple guys to my left, and I just pull up this ridge trying to get a shot. Rushed that one a little bit because he was backing down, and I didn't want to get spotted. So KV, you can see this long aim time. Now I'm going to wait for that M4. 127. Obviously just splash damage, but you know, compared to what you would be getting with the 75 centimeter, which is 160 for your standard AP round, we're not doing too much lower than that with these non-penetrating HE rounds. This looks like it's going to be an easy win, but they all bum rush on the AR-L44, and I'm hoping to get a shot here on the AMX, and we miss. So now we are only up a tank, and we've got the backside of the KV. I want to make sure I get a nice good roll. 300 hit points there, so I'm gonna go into cover while I reload. Figure that KV will go around and finish him off. Hoping again to get a shot in on the ARL. Flying biscuits. And we do a low roll there of 138. And guess what? That KV2 is still alive. And our KV1 is dead. Yeah, so not quite sure how that happened. So I'm thinking, all right, let's try to get up 92. Not good. So again, trying to keep these guys in front of me. We're back to even now. We were down a tank there for a minute. KV gets finished off. I was hoping that he would back up there, but no such luck. Going to go in for the KV1, but he gets taken out, and now it's just this ELC, and we'll see what we can do here. He's got 195 hit points left. Let's hope we get a better roll. Sure enough, finish him off. So this can be a fun little gun to play, which is why I don't really have a recommendation one way or the other. 1852, and I mean, obviously I've shown you 2 good games. I had some bad games where I only did 260 damage, so that's going to happen in this tank as well. Whereas I think you're going to get a much more consistent game with the 7.5 centimeter. So let's look at that. All right, so here we are again, bottom tier. There's only one tier 6 in this one, but we're going to go hill. And just kind of be a little patient. Wait to see if they pop around the corner. Got a little bit of support with me. Now I'm thinking they're not coming this way, so we'll just be a little bit more aggressive and try to flank around, see if we can't catch anyone late getting into town. Nope. Alright, so they're all in town. One of these games where half the team goes and sits in cap. Usually not a strategy that's going to work out in your favor. T1's getting lit up there, so I'm just looking for target. KV's right here. He's turning away. We'll get a nice shot into him there. Keep in mind that we've now switched over to the 7.5 centimeter gun. We bounce off the front of the KV there. Obviously trying to be as cautious as possible with that KV. He can take a wallop from us, so Stug comes into sight. We get a shot into him. He's going to turn around. We'll back up while we're reloading. And we'll pull forward, get another shot in, and back up again. Trying to keep angled just a little bit there. Helps increase our effective armor. We'll get a nice shot through the drive wheel there, and he gets finished off. Now here comes that KV. Get a little greedy here. Get a shot into him, and we'll try to use this building for cover. Just gonna try to get out here and take a shot from him. 536 hit points to the side. Don't want to show your sides to KV. I want to make sure these shots go in while he's on the long reload. So I'm going to switch over to APCR. He gets taken out. Here comes the Chaffee, who damages my ammo rack, and so I have to repair that real quickly, and you can see I can reload before he can shoot me. And the team finishes him off, or the rest of the team finishes them off. I do 1173 damage. Just one kill, good for a level 2. We did some base defense there, but you can see it's got some good maneuverability forwards, backwards, and pretty good reload time and an accurate gun. Alright, so let's have some fun as a top tier on Yamato Harbor. Definitely like to go right. I just find my play style is much better in hills than it is in buildings. Find it much easier to get hull down. Use gun depression and use these hills and rocks to basically give yourself an advantage. So we've got these two pulled up. You can drop 190. You see 3 out of those 4 shots bounced. Line up and take another shot and another bounce, making sure we're keeping some angles here, and go ahead and finish off the Crusader. Now we've got that Churchill there. Want to be mindful of him. Looks like we've got a couple guys just sitting in cap. Seeing the back of a tier 4 TD here, so we'll switch over. Back of a tier 4 tank, so we'll switch over to HE and get a nice roll there. And so we've got some tanks coming in. You can see that Church bounces 160. We deflected there. So while he's slow moving in, I think we'll just move around and work on this guy who's distracted. Now he's going between the 2 rocks, so I'm going to chase him behind here and take that shot from the Churchill. So we're going to try to climb up and get away from the Churchill, but I turn around right into him and he gets my engine. We'll finish off the VK there. And let's get turned around so that we are angled up nicely on the Churchill. Again, he's slow. I'm not so worried about him. I can go focus on other tanks. And this is one of the things that I want to point out, guys, is don't get tunnel vision. And just because one guy's shooting at you means you have to shoot back at him. Look for tanks with low health that you can get out of the game, get their guns out, like that one there, and use other tanks' disadvantages, like the Churchill speed, to your advantage as well. Try to just put an HE round into the Chaffee just to see what that would do. Obviously, base cap is going to get to 100. We'll just go ahead and get one more shot in for the fun of it. But that situational awareness is something I think is really lacking in the game. So many games I see half the other team has, one shot. Well, they would have all been killed, but no one focused on tanks. They were just focused on the guy that was in front of them. So keep that in mind. You see there, 17, 26 damage, 3 kills. All right, so last game on Mirage here, top tier. And one of the things that I really like to do on this map, and you can do it from either spawn, is come up on this ridge and get into that bush there, and you can really get some good spots in. Obviously don't sit up there like the Crusader there. He's gonna get hit hard, but we managed to get a shot into the BDR. Obviously we bounced that one on the KV, and then if you do get spotted, you can just back up behind this berm here and you are protected. So not sure what that M4 is doing, why he's facing backwards. We see a toaster over there, and so we're going to switch over to HE for it. The M7 is behind some breakable items, so we'll go ahead and switch over to AP and get a shot in. And that Stug is sitting on top of a hill. Old Crusader, he's so desperate to get shots in. He's got 0 health, and he gets killed. I set the Stug on fire. He sets me on fire. I put out the fire. Stug does not. So we get kill number 1. I was pushing on the Chinu there, and you can see how the Chinu bounces. Was not expecting that M7 to come around, so now I'm taking some punishment. And we've got the M7 down to a 1 shot, and he's going to back up, and Chinu's going to come around and bounce again. So you can see we're getting some good bounces in here from the Chinu, not necessarily from the M7. And Chinu does manage to get around to our side and finish us off. I'll speed this up a good bit so you don't have to get bored by the rest of the blind teammates. But we do manage to pull it off. So you can see we do 1,661 damage, 2 kills, bounced 4 shots there. So as top tier, this is kind of a fun tank to play. You can certainly bounce quite a few shots, and you can definitely do some good damage in it. But it's also fun to play with the 10.5 centimeter L28 gun, especially if you can get around 400 hit point damage when you get that penetration on the HE shot. So hopefully you guys have learned some good strategy and some techniques on how to play this tank a little bit better, and I look forward to seeing you on the battlefield. And as always, guys, remember, it's just a game. Have fun, get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger out.